Hi everybody, my name is Troy Laquetta and most of you probably know me from the band Tesla. I'm here to share some information with you today about the Wake Up to Love Foundation. The Wake Up to Love Foundation is a group of like-minded people coming together for one purpose, which is positive change. We have everyone from A-list producers, musicians, singer-songwriters, people in prison ministry, homelessness, addicts, and we are here to bring solutions to some of our world's biggest problems. That is our primary purpose and our goal. I've been in the music business for the past 40 plus years, and I've developed a lot of relationships with like-minded people. I have put on probably close to a dozen events. And in those events, I've learned that people share the same passion that I do. With some of these ideas that I have, I started to think about all the different events we could put together. Because I'm a guy that's sober for the past 29 years, I've just fell into these situations where I would be asked to do certain things. And some of these certain things I've been asked to do, one of them is a program for kids that I'm now involved with in the school, which has become a program called Troy Shows Up. TroyShowsUp.com is basically me showing up with my drums, playing for maybe the first 10, 15 minutes, introducing the kids who I am. The second part of that program is me sharing my story, my experience, strength, and hope, and what I've learned out there, and basically of what not to do, because I am the good example of the bad example, because I didn't do well in school, and it had a lot to do with people pleasing. So that has become more part of my story with the kids, because I think they relate a lot to people pleasing and making bad choices, and now we have the whole social media problem that's going on and teenage suicide. So we're going to address all these topics. The third part of the program in the schools will be me sitting with the principal, sharing with the students, getting their feedback through questions and answers, and learning from them, because everybody has a story. We're interested in their story and their problems, and I think with the amount of peer pressure that we find today in the schools and in the systems of wanting to be liked and wanting to be accepted, that's where a lot of this stems from. So one thing I'm really looking forward to doing with the Troy Shows Up program is I'm going to partner up with this guy named K-Riz.
Hey everybody, my name's K-Riz from Reno, Nevada, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of Wake Up to Love Foundation. My name is K-Riz. I'm a singer-songwriter out of Reno, Nevada, and I love to make positive music, man. I've been into the music industry for about 10 to 12 years and started out at high school with a group of friends, thinking I was gonna be a rapper. Told my grandma I was gonna be a rapper, Grandma. She said, you're gonna be perfect, you're gonna be the best rapper ever. Originally, I got involved working on a project with Troy Laquetta Jr., kind of really the full spectrum.
I got involved with my son a year and a half plus 2 years ago. The whole COVID thing started up. And what I learned was K-Riz had a program called Make 'em Smile, which he brings into the schools, and he's been doing it for the last 8 years. He's got a toy drive. He does amazing things. You're going to learn a lot about K-Riz.
We were working on this EP, and his dad comes into the studio, and he's like, what are you kids working on? You know, we started playing him some tracks, and he's like, it's really good. I like this. This is good. This feels great, man. K-Riz, I think it needs some drums.
And so I had talked to him. I said, hey, K-Riz, what if we did Troy Shows Up with K-Riz? I said, man, I said, you're hitting all these young kids. He could get into the grammar schools. I'm in the middle schools and high schools. We'll do all of that together. But I see K-Riz like I see Barney. I mean, I think Barney was the coolest thing. And I said, K-Riz, I says, you got that spark in you, man. I says, we could do some really great things. I said, so let's talk about what we can do together.
I didn't have a big history or knowledge of really who Troy Luccketta was or his involvement in the music industry, which kind of made it really a neat connection that me and him, because I wasn't nervous to be around him, which I'm sure some people that have maybe followed him would be. But to me, he was just Troy's Junior's dad, you know?
And while we're looking at what we can possibly do together, let's think a little bit bigger outside of just hitting singular schools.
So I'm in this coffee shop one day, and I'm writing in my notes, you know, going through all this, you know, turbulence in my life. And I say, you know, Lord, just please give me an opportunity to really embrace this and make this career something and have something tangible come out of it. Help me change the world in a positive way through my music. That's really what it came down to. I think 2 days later, Troy's calling me. K-Riz, how you doing, buddy? I said, good, man, I'm doing awesome. You know, I got my mask on. Oh, everything's great out here, buddy. How are you, man? Things are moving fine, you know? He says, man, I got some things moving out here. I got this great project that I'm working on, and I think you fit right into what we're doing with who you are as a person. I said, when do you need me? He goes, when can you get out here? You should get out here, man. I think you're going to like what I got going, and we got some good opportunities. I was on the phone with him. I was at my house in 15 minutes and booked a one-way ticket out to Nashville. I think it's a platform for positivity and big picture thinkers and people that are really out to use their professions and their talent and their knowledge for the greater good of the world. And I just couldn't be more excited to be on board. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. If you know me, I'm all about blessings and love, man, just spreading that positivity. And yeah, you know, just let's see what we can do, and let's create a positive change in the world.
The how Wake Up to Love came to be, I had put an event together, a fundraiser for the Station Family Fund that I was part of. Some of you might remember the Great White Tragedy. There was a club fire, 100 people died, 65 orphan children, 200 injured. I partnered up with their organizations. To give you the short story, I went into the arena, which was the Providence Dunkin' Donuts Center, myself and Todd King, who was a surviving member. It's a big, huge story that I'm sure a lot of you probably know about. But the short version of that is I went down and met with the assistant to the GM, and we decided we wanted to put on a concert to raise some money and awareness, which we did do. I put I made a lot of personal phone calls. I called Dee Snider, asked him to be the host of the event. Fast forward, we had a lot of people sign up for the event. All I had to do was put down $2,000 to give me a $2 million liability insurance policy to have the concert, and it became Wake Up to Love presents the Station Family Fund Benefit Relief Concert.
Believe in the Station Family.
There is a song by a guy named Eric Westfall who wrote the song Wake Up to Love. I recorded it 30 plus years ago. I always felt it was a We Are the World kind of a song. The lyrical content says it all. You're going to hear about it. We're going to be using that song as part of our anthem. So because I've been involved with so many fundraisers for people out of the necessity for a cause, it's just kind of what I've been doing. I didn't set out to do all these things. It just kind of happened. Now, fast forward, I had this idea about bringing some like-minded people together, and just kind of had a lot of interest because there's so many people here in Nashville where I live that really like to be part of something great. And I think what we're putting together is something great. And it's certainly not about me. It's like without the we, there is no me. It's really about the team of people that I feel that has been chosen for what we're getting ready to do. I take my mother to the eye doctor. I say, hey Mom, I'll be back in 30 minutes to get you. I go down to get a little something to eat. I decided to take a walk through Centennial Park, and the first guy I come across is this guy named Sean. And you're going to meet Sean here shortly.
From my personal experiences, what really got me emotionally invested in this was meeting two people that were on the streets living it. And the first one that I'll get into is Sean.
I got to Nashville probably about February of 2022. Homeless the entire time. Spent the first few nights in the mission, Nashville Rescue Mission. Thank God bless them, for giving me a place to stay and keeping me from getting hypothermia or frostbite or whatever.
I did not know he was homeless at the time. But I knew there was homeless people out there. So I've always, hey, can I get you something? And I said hi to him, and he basically said, no, I'm good.
Later I met this great man local to Mount Juliet, and he sort of helped give me the rest and let me heal, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, so that I can get back out and do what it is that I came here to do, and that's to get a job, to be successful, to not be homeless, start a new life.
I took a little walk around the park, and I came back, and I see this guy, kid, I'll call him. He looked like a kid to me, young. He had his backpack against a pole. He had his power plugged in. He had his earbuds in, and he was working like it was his office and his desk. And I walked past him, and he pulls his earbud out, and he goes, "Hi."
It's really been cool to get to know Chucky. Always a positive attitude. He's always grateful to be alive and, just to have a purpose. And he creates purpose for himself. He's very knowledgeable on the computer. He can do a lot of great research. He already has structures for how he wants to build homes for this homeless communities that makes them feasible and actually productive, to where these people can now learn life skills. And I mean, you ask Chucky, man, he's got this whole thing mapped out in his mind, and he actually does the research. And I mean, you'll be eating a banana and he'll tell you every good thing about a banana, and you go grab something else and he's like, did you know that has this in it, and that controls this and helps you with this? I mean, this guy's brilliant. So again, it's like, it's so cool, because some people would say, oh, he's homeless, just don't talk to him. And then you get to talk to him and you learn more from Chucky than you probably would from some of your professors or people that you don't listen to as well. So that's really neat about Chucky, and I can't wait to see what kind of positive impact he makes on the world.
So I guess I'll just tell you a little of my story of why I'm voluntarily homeless. So I got thrust into homelessness because I was living with somebody that was a drug user, and I got clean and sober, and I confronted her about her own drug use, and she said if I didn't like it, then I could just leave.
And I looked at him, I go, hey, how you doing? I think I asked him if he was homeless, because I wanted to get him some food. If he was, I go, hey, are you homeless? Can I get you anything? I don't even think he needed anything at the time. But anyway, the quick story on that is, we got to talking, and I learned that he was out there by choice, because he had put a YouTube channel together, and he wanted to learn more about the homeless situation that was going on.
I was going back to where I was sleeping at there in Centennial Park, and a guy was taking a pursuit angle. I had seen him around. He was a local bushwhacker. He just went around and stole people's stuff, and he was coming for me and my stuff. And so I dropped to one knee, pulled my knife out, made sure that he saw and heard my knife click. He stopped in his tracks, looked around, and then turned around and ran. And from that night, I kind of got scared, and it took me a couple weeks to kind of get over that, but then I went back to this journey of living on the streets, trying to learn what it's like to be homeless, what the problems are, how I can create some solutions.
I met up with Chucky, and I went back and I picked up my mother, and I said, Mom, I want you to meet these two homeless guys I met. So I brought her back, and and we just started talking to him. And Sean didn't have a phone, and I asked him what his desires were and if he was going to get back to work and why he wasn't working, because there's so much work everywhere. And I think that's what people want to know, is like, what's going on with these homeless people? I want to help, but I don't know who I'm helping or what I'm giving to. And that's a problem. So, and I want to know those same things. So really, I'm just asking questions and collecting data. And as it would turn out, we got to talk, and he goes, well, my phone died. I want to get back to my wife. She's sick. She's in Atlanta. I've been homeless for a 3 years. It happened when, the whole COVID thing started. He's 13 years sober. He's got a backstory that he's going to share with you.
So I have this rule of whatever you do, just try to create value for strangers. So like one of the things I did to make money, because I did have a traditional job, but I also wanted to learn ways that homeless people can make money without begging. So I memorized historical facts about the monuments around Centennial Park, which is where I was sleeping, and then I would sit around those monuments, and when groups would come up to look at them, I'd ask them if they wanted some information on the monument and if they wanted to do my mini tour. If they did, then I would give them information, do the tour, and then at the end I'd give them my flyer, which had my Cash App, and it said on the front, I'm homeless, but I'm working to get out of this situation, as well as a link to my website and stuff of that nature.
But point being, we went back, and the next thing I know, I was loading these guys up in my car. I think we had breakfast, and I'm loading them up, and they put their bags in my car. We go to my house, and I just wanted to get them fed and give them a shower, and I think that's all we had really planned on doing. And next thing I know, I think we were going to take them back. Mission accomplished, and my mom said to me, she says, Troy, she says, well, they're going to go back to the park and sleep in the park, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's where they're homeless, And she goes, well, why can't they sleep out there? And I have a little concrete slab, I had a little tent set up, and I'm like, really? Yeah, why can't they? I go, I guess I can stay tonight. Yeah, we can hang out. And they woke up, next thing I know, they're freaking mowing my lawns, they want to work, they want to do stuff, and the arrangement was so good, and there was a trade-off there that I realized that made sense, and I really felt the presence of the good Lord in it, and I really, that's kind of what I do. I'm not out to save the world or try to figure this thing out or search for people. That's not my deal, but my deal is to be aware and be conscious of what the surroundings are kind of putting in front of me. So anyway, so we met, and they've been here for 30 days? You're going to hear this story. It's incredible. They got jobs. They're getting ready to fly the coop. So that's really what happens. I mean, it probably doesn't sound good, hey, I'm going to grab a couple homeless guys and bring them to my house, but the truth of the matter is we gambled on something that worked out, and now it's for a greater, bigger purpose. And that's what's so cool about what's taking place. This is an organic thing. It happened, and now we're just, Chucky's brilliant. Wait until you hear from that guy. He's an encyclopedia of information.
It really is a full-time job being homeless. I remember trying to find food every day and I'd have to walk all the way across town. It'd take me an hour to get to one place to eat breakfast. And then the place that was serving dinner was like 4 or 5 miles away from that. So then I'd have to walk all the way back across town. And then to get a shower, you got to go, up to a different part of town. So just to live a normal life, it was a full-time job just to stay clean and fed.
Some of the people I've met along the way, there's this one gal, Heather, that you're going to meet up with here shortly. You'll hear her story, and she was not on my radar. I learned, this is perfect, because once I got with Sean, and I got with Chucky, I learned a lot about the Nashville Rescue Foundation, which I'd always had questions of. So again, collecting data, what's working, what's not working. But then they start telling me about this gal named Heather. Hey, you should come down 8:30 Sunday morning. There's this gal Heather down there who feeds the homeless. So I went down, got a chance to meet her, and I learned that she had been doing this for 6 years. Every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. And at that point, man, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Every Sunday, 6 years? Every Sunday for 6 years, she has been under that bridge, feeding the homeless with a team of people, all for Him Ministries. I met another couple, Scott and Missy. They've been doing the coffee for 3 years. And I was just like, my goodness, these people are so selfless. It's not something I relate to, selfless people. I've been in a self-centered, selfish world for the last 35 plus years. Does not cater to families, does not cater to a lot of things. We're out there, it's all about us. So for me to get involved in something that is so selfless and to see these people, I mean, it has truly inspired me. So you're going to hear Heather's story from Heather, an incredible woman.
So my story with working with the homeless started about 6, almost 7 years ago. I had always had a heart for this, and I always wanted to help people. And what I did is I worked corporate America, and I started seeing the need, and I bought a teacher card at a yard sale, and I would fill it with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and clothing, whatever I can fit in my little cart, and I would walk the streets of Nashville. And that's how I got to know all of our unhoused and just started seeing what the needs were, trying to meet the needs. And then I would go on Saturdays with a card table and a Panera coffee and just have conversation. And that's when I realized like there were so many people out on Saturdays. So Sunday was more effective because nobody was out. So that's when I decided to start serving on Sunday. And from there, I wanted to start a nonprofit. I thought it was never a possibility, but it was. And we started it, we saved our money, and then we became All for Him. I think the basic, is we go back to is everybody's got a story. And I think sometimes we just think, oh, they just need a meal. It's so much more than a meal. And I think it's just getting to know them, building that relationship and seeing what their needs are. Some are perfectly content with being out there. Some are perfectly, happy with where they are, but a good part of them want something more. And it's building that relationship, getting to know them and figuring out what we need to do next. So if somebody wants to go to recovery, having that door open, or somebody needs an ID to get the job that they're wanting to get, it's finding out what those needs are and starting with the basic. And I always say, when I started this, I had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and coffee because it's just an easy conversation starter. And that's how I was able to build the relationships with people that I have.
Part of my story of being sober for the last 29 years and getting sober and getting cleaned up, I've learned kind of how to do life differently and figure out what's important. And I've also failed miserably through that process as well. But I just keep failing forward, so to speak, and keep trying to figure it out and grab the lesson for me and moving forward and really have a purpose-driven life for what I really feel like I'm called to do. I mean, I've been blessed with the band to play all these wonderful years and play all that wonderful music, and God bless them all. I mean, we've all been very blessed with that situation. And then after I got sober, it led me to another guy that I'd like to tell you a little bit about, Tom O'Brien, who's a dear, dear friend of mine. He's the OG of our group. And this guy is going to do wonderful, great things and keep us all on track and help us move this mission forward. I was recently playing with the Guess Who in Las Vegas, and at the hotel I was staying at, boom, I see these sharks swimming past this massive, huge tank, and it had a slide in it. And I remember learning, I go, oh my God, I think that's some of Jerry's work. And come to find out it was so ironic. It was a week later, I had got called out to go sub for the band, the Guess Who. And now I'm looking at some of Jerry's work. And I have another friend of mine named Farmer Jerry. I call him Farmer Jerry. And I've done some work with Jerry. And I asked these guys, I said, between Farmer Jerry and Shark Tank Jerry, I says, we're putting this board of directors together. I says, would you have any interest in being part of this organization? So you're going to learn about who they are and what they bring to the table. But these are the key factors for me of the people between Tom, our OG, Shark Tank, and Farmer. These guys are going to help us run this business as a business. I'm going to get out of the way. They're going to tell me what we can and can't do because I'm learning about what that is. I have thoughts and ideas, but Tom says, no, we can't do that. We'll do this. And I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. That works. Hey, man, whatever lane I'm supposed to be in, I just want to stay in my lane, let everybody get in their own lane, kind of figure this thing out together. And that's our goal. It's one goal, one mission, one purpose. Please know this is a call to action. We need your help. wakeuptolove.org, okay? wakeuptolove.org. Go there, get the information. Please join us for a great cause. If If I had one thing to say to the world, it would be love everybody.